Imagine a country that most people barely talk about. It has no coastline. It's surrounded by bigger nations. And for decades, it was considered one of the poorest economies in South America. But today, something unexpected is happening. This small nation is attracting international companies, investors, and new industries. We're talking about Paraguay. While some of the biggest economies in the region struggle with crises and inflation, Paraguay has been quietly growing. And now many analysts are asking a surprising question. Could Paraguay become the next economic power in South America? Because the truth is, this country has a few powerful advantages that most people don't know about. For a long time, Paraguay lived in the shadow of its giant neighbors, Brazil and Argentina. Its economy depended mostly on agriculture. There was limited industry, limited infrastructure, and very little global attention. But over the past 2 decades, something started to change. Paraguay began to grow steadily. While many South American economies experienced severe ups and downs, Paraguay maintained consistent economic growth. And a big reason for that comes from something extremely powerful: energy. Paraguay is home to one of the largest hydroelectric power plants on Earth, the Itaipu Dam. This massive dam was built together with Brazil and generates an enormous amount of electricity. But here's the surprising part: Paraguay produces far more electricity than it actually needs. That means the country sells a huge portion of its energy abroad. As a result, electricity in Paraguay is extremely cheap. And cheap energy is one of the most attractive things for large industries. Factories, manufacturing companies, and even data centers are starting to look at Paraguay as a strategic location. Another major reason companies are moving to Paraguay is taxes. The country has one of the lowest corporate tax rates in South America. Businesses often pay around 10% in corporate taxes. For comparison, companies in Brazil can pay more than 30%. This creates a huge incentive for companies to relocate production. There's also a special program called the Maquila system, which allows foreign companies to manufacture goods in Paraguay while paying significantly lower taxes. Because of this, industrial activity has been growing rapidly, especially near the Brazilian border. Cities like Ciudad del Este are becoming important commercial and industrial hubs. Even though industry is growing, agriculture remains the backbone of Paraguay's economy. The country is one of the largest soybean exporters in the world. It also exports large quantities of beef and other agricultural products. What makes this even more impressive is the country's size. Paraguay has a population of around 7 million people, yet it produces enough food to supply markets all over the world. Agriculture alone generates billions of dollars in exports every year. Another factor attracting investors is Paraguay's economic stability. While several countries in the region struggle with high inflation and financial crises, Paraguay has managed to maintain relatively stable economic policies. The national currency, the Paraguayan guarani, has remained relatively stable over time. The government also tends to follow conservative fiscal policies. For investors, stability is extremely important, and Paraguay has managed to create a business environment that many companies consider predictable and safe. But despite all this growth, Paraguay still faces major challenges. Infrastructure still needs improvement. Education and technological development need more investment, and the economy still depends heavily on agriculture. Income inequality also remains a concern in some regions. If Paraguay truly wants to become a major economic power, it will need to invest heavily in innovation, infrastructure, and human capital. But the transformation has already begun. Paraguay might not be a global power today, but it's doing something that many countries struggle to achieve: consistent, long-term growth. With cheap energy, low taxes, strong agricultural exports, and increasing industrial activity, Paraguay is slowly positioning itself as one of the most promising economies in South America. And if this trend continues, the country could surprise the world in the coming decades. So now the question is, could Paraguay really become the next economic power in South America? Or will it remain a small country between giants? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy videos about geopolitics, economics, and global trends, make sure to subscribe for more content like this.